Welcome to the CISSP Cyber Training Podcast, where we provide you the training and tools you need to pass the CISSP exam the first time. Hi, my name is Shon Gerber, and I'm your host for this action-packed, informative podcast. Join me each week as I provide the information you need to pass the CISSP exam and grow your cybersecurity knowledge. All right, let's get started. Hey, it's Shon Gerber again with CISSP Cyber Training Podcast, and we are going to be talking the extreme CISSP exam questions. Awesome! So if you like to hear exam questions, you are going to love this. So one of the questions we're going to get into is we talked about in our podcast on Monday was around the security models. So as we're talking security models, well, today is going to be the security model question program of the day. And it's going to be awesome. And as we mentioned before on Monday, one of the key aspects as we talked about the various models was the Bell-LaPadula model, the Biba model, the Clark-Wilson model, and the Brewer-Cap theorem or framework. And we also talked about the David Clark, not the boy band, but David Clark, the folks that are actually having the piece of this. Well, no, it's David Clark is the two guys. It was David and Clark. Yeah, I think that's what it was. I don't know. But anyway, we'll move on. No, the Clark Wilson. Yes, both names were David. It was David Clark and David Wilson. So it's not David Clark. It's Clark Wilson. Sorry. All right, moving on. I digress. The ADD kicked in and I got a funny squirrel and just made me go down the wrong rabbit hole. All right, so when we're going to get into these questions, and we mentioned before, you're going to need to understand the various models, and you're going to need to understand how they're used, because you're going to get asked questions that can be very challenging in this space, and you need to understand what exactly are they talking about. Now, these questions that I'm going to be giving you, you can get all these questions at CISSP Cyber Training. I keep updating these questions pretty much weekly, trying to get them all done as much as I can between working as a CISO and a full-time gig with a very large multinational to raising all my kids. I got a wedding coming up in June. So as a recording of this is May 12th, 23. I have a wedding coming up in about 2 weeks. And I've got graduations from high school, and then my wife has a Kona Shaved Ice franchise, so we got to do that. So between that, recording podcasts, working the CISSP business, I'm a busy guy. So, and as I'm recording this, it is 5:30 in the morning Central Time, and I get up usually about 4:30. So not that you guys care, but that's when I find time to do all this. Okay, so we're going to get into the security models. So question number 1, again, focused on domain 3. These are security models in domain 3. Which security model focuses on confidentiality and enforces the no read up, no write down principle? So like we talked about last week, this week, around the no read up and no write down principle. A, Bell-LaPadula, B, the Biba, C, the Clark-Wilson model, the boy band, or D, the Brewer-Cap theorem. So again, no read up, no write down. Bell-LaPadula, Biba, Clark-Wilson, or Brewer-Cap. And as we know, the no read up and no write down is the Bell-LaPadula model. Okay, so it ensures that information flows from higher sensitivity levels to low sensitivity levels, but prevents unauthorized access to higher levels. Now, it says that, and it does allow flowing of access. Yes, sort of. Depending upon where you deploy this at, you may allow that. If you're looking at the U.S. government, they don't just allow it to flow from higher levels to lower levels. You just can't arbitrarily do that. You have to follow a process by which you make that happen. But it's much easier to flow the data down than it is to flow the data up. Okay, now we're going to go on the next question. This security model that defines well-formed transactions-based controls and separation of duties to maintain data integrity. We talked about this on Monday. So again, well-formed transaction-based controls and separation of duties to maintain data integrity is A, the Bell-LaPadula model, B, the Biba model, C, the Clark-Wilson model, the boy band, or B, the Brewer-Cap theorem. Okay, so as we think about that, separation of duties and transactional-based controls is the Clark-Wilson model. That would be C. It focuses on data integrity in a commercial environment and ensures integrity through the use of well-formed transactional-based controls and the separation of duties. Okay, one way you control it you can see on this would be digital signatures, certification authorities, and access controls. So those are various aspects you might see with the Clark-Wilson model. Okay, so we've kind of covered some of those. All right, let's go here. We talked about, let's go to a couple other questions, sorry. All right, this is one that we didn't mention in the podcast because if I did, it would go on forever. So, which security model emphasizes the concept of confinement to prevent information leakage? Okay, so we didn't talk about this in the podcast, but you get it today here on the questions. Which security model emphasizes the concept of confinement? A, the Bell-LaPadula model, B, the Biba model, C, the Clark-Wilson boy band model, or D, the non-interference model? That's a new one, right? And I just kind of emphasized that. Which security model emphasizes the concept of confinement to prevent information leakage? It is D, the non-interference model. Now, this model focuses on preventing information leakage by confining the actions and information flow of subjects within their respective security levels. Okay, so it basically is allowing it won't allow the data outside of whatever security level that you have set up, right? It's where higher security levels do not interfere or affect actions and information on subjects lower than the security levels. So that you run into the situation where you have the Bell-LaPadula, where you're dealing with top secret. You may also have the non-interference model in place because you know what? I don't want the streams crossing. Tell me the movie. Do you guys know the movie? Don't Let the Streams Cross, Ray? Oh, okay. So that shows how old I am. That's the Ghostbusters. Okay. Which security model is associated with the concept of separation of duties to enforce data integrity? Okay. We kind of talked about that one. That was already the Clark-Wilson model. So I'm scrolling through some of my other questions here that I have that it can give you some more insight. Okay, this one here, the security model that addresses the trade-offs between consistency, availability, and partition tolerance. We talked about this on Monday. In the distributed systems is known as A, the Bell-LaPadula, B, the Biba, C, the Clark-Wilson, or D, the Brewer-Capp theorem. Okay, the security model that addresses the trade-offs between consistency, availability, and partition tolerance in a distributed system is known as A, Bell, B, Biba, C, Clark-Wilson, or D, the Brewer-Capp. It is D. The Brewer-Capp theorem or Brewer-Nash model focuses on trade-offs in distributed systems. Remember distributed systems and the presence of network partitions. You must choose between consistency, availability, and partition. Or again, as you saw up in the question, well, you guys didn't see it because you probably are listening to this, but consistency, availability, and the partition tolerance, those are factors. If you see cap, you automatically know it's the beer. It's the Brewer-Nash model. And you want to make sure that you kind of remember that piece of this. Now, I'm going to throw one at you. This last question I have for you is one that might get you, it might cause you to make a mistake. So it's a very tricky question. And maybe it's for you guys, it's not. You'll probably get it. But I struggled with it a little bit at first because it's kind of a little bit of contrary to what we talked about on Monday, but it's not. So the security model that emphasizes data integrity, key term, data integrity, and follows the no write up and no read down principle. Okay, so you can't write up, you can't read down, is called the what? The A, the Bell-LaPadula model. Okay, so remember the Bell-LaPadula, you can't write up, but you can read down, right? So it's no write up, no read down. The Bell-LaPadula model is A. The Biba model is B. C is a Clark-Wilson model, or D, the Brewer-Capp. Now, if it's focused on integrity, which one was that? Now, we talked about earlier that last week is that integrity is a big focus of the Biba model. Now, it does have confidentiality, integrity, and availability, but integrity is a key factor. The Biba model does focus on data integrity, and it follows the no write up, no read down principle. Okay, which basically means that a certain integrity level can only write to the same or lower integrity levels and can read information only from the same or higher integrity levels. So it's a little bit of confusion there. So you just need to make sure that as you go through this, look for key terms before you answer the questions. All right, that's all I have for today, and I am excited to give you some more questions. Next week, we are going to be talking about Domain 4. And in Domain 4, we're going to be going through the various pieces as it relates to secure communication channels according to design. So that one is awesome, but really basically we're going to be talking about the OSI model. That's the plan. All right. Hope you all had a wonderful, beautiful day, and I hope you enjoyed these security questions, and we'll catch you on the flip side. See ya.
Hey, thanks again for listening today. It's been my pleasure to prep you for the CISSP exam. Are you interested, though, in some free CISSP exam questions? Head on over to freecisspquestions.com and sign up to join my email list, and you'll receive access for 60 free CISSP questions each and every month for the next 6 months. That's a total of 360 questions just for signing up with CISSP Cyber Training. You'll also gain access to other free CISSP resources, so just head on over to freecisspquestions.com and sign up, or head on over to CISSPcybertraining.com and sign up today. Have a wonderful day, and we will catch you on the flip side. See ya.